There we go. All right, so today is the 13th. All right, 2/13/23. So our objective today really is going to be graphing, or at least we're going to be looking at parabolas in standard form or general. Every book has to be different. I think this book calls it general form. I've always called it standard form. It doesn't really matter. And standard form is the y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That's our standard form, okay? We have two other forms we've already talked about. We talked about those on Friday. We talked about vertex form, and I'll put that up here too so we have that. And our vertex form was y equals a parentheses quantity x minus h squared plus k. We did that on Friday. And then we also talked about intercept form or root form. And that was our y equals a times x minus r1 times x minus r2. Okay, so those are pretty easy forms, okay? But today we want to talk about it in standard form, which most parabolas are going to be given to us in standard form. It's not difficult. There's some things that make it really easy. So when it's in standard form, the easiest of all, the easiest is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept can be found simply by let x equal 0, okay? Well, that's pretty easy. If you let x equal 0, it's just going to be c. So in intercept form, it's always going to be some 0, comma c, whatever c is. In this case, it's 5. I'll slow down. So intercept form, standard form, boom, that's the y-intercept. That's it. 0, 5. Easy, right? So in this example, we know we're going to have a point at 0, comma 5. Because if you let x is 0, 0, you're just left with 5, okay? And I can graph that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? The second thing that we should find that isn't too difficult is the vertex. To find the vertex, let's find the line of symmetry first. For some reason, everybody tends to forget that little easy formula, negative b over 2a. You didn't, though. You remembered it, didn't you, Julian? Right? Negative b over 2a when it's in standard form. And so in our example, a, b, and c, right? We know our a is 2, our b is negative 8, and our c is 5. Okay, so if I'm going to use my little mini formula, I'll have x equals negative b, which in this case is our negative 8 over 2 times a, which is 2 times 2. Okay, which is 8 over 4 or 2, okay? So I like to draw it in. We have a line of symmetry at 2. Somewhere along this line is the vertex, somewhere, right? So to find the y value, we just plug it in. So then, okay, that's x equals, right? And then plug in to get the y value. Okay, I'm just going to plug it in to get the y value. So I can get a vertex, right? So I will go y equals 2 times my 2 squared minus 8 times my 2 plus 5, and I'm going to cheat and just use a calculator. Why not, right? 2 times 2 squared minus 8 times 2 plus 5. And I get an answer of negative 3, okay? So my vertex is at 2 comma negative 3. And I'll slow down, right, Lexi?
Yes, please.
I'll slow down.
Did you stick your paper over to your, there?
There you go. Thanks, Emily. And I'll grab that when you give me thumbs up, okay? Right there. Now, the nice thing about a line of symmetry is I also have a point right there. Everybody agree? Right there, everybody agree? Got a point right there? Okay. Now, x-intercepts. Oof. X-intercepts. So x-intercepts, we're going to let y equal 0. And maybe factor. So I'll have a 0 equals a 2x squared minus 8x plus 5. Does it factor? I don't think it factors. Oh, why did I pick one that doesn't factor? I guess so. I can get a 10. I can get a 5 and a 2, but I can't get an 8. Doggone it. So you know what we have to do? We'll just do it really quickly. Negative b, unless you guys can see it factors. I don't think it factors. B squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Darn it, it won't factor. All right, so let's see how much of this I can do in my calc to make it easier for me, huh?
Wait, it's negative 8 inside the...
Oh, I dropped the negative. Thank you, Retta. You know why I dropped it? You're totally right, but I dropped it. You know why I dropped it? Because I'm going to square it anyway. But you're right. You're completely correct, okay? 8 squared minus 4 times 2 times 5. Phew. And so then I've got 8 plus or minus 4.9 over 2. I just did the quadratic formula. What a pain. Why did I pick that? Oh, well, I can do it. I can do it. So then 8 plus 4.9 divided by 2. One answer is 6.45. The other answer is 8 subtract 4.9 divided by 2 is a 1.55. Wow. Okay, bummer, huh? All right, well, 1.55.
Divided by 2.
I did divide by 2.
Yeah, isn't it 2?
Oh, that's, yeah, my answer can't be right. What did I do wrong? Let's try it again. Okay. Thanks, Angela. 8 plus 4.9 divided by 2, right? Oh, 4. That's, Angela, are you trying to tell me 4?
Yeah.
Ugh. Golly, it is Monday morning. How about 3.225? Boy. And 8 subtract 4.9. I do not mean to confuse you guys, but I made a mistake. And about 0.775. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, forgive me. I didn't do my quadratic formula right. My bad. That should have been a 4, not a 2. Thanks, Angela. Okay. Whew. If I confused you, forgive me. I didn't do the quadratic formula very well. I made a mistake. I could have used a better night's sleep, but yeah, you know. Okay, tell me if your thumbs up for number 2. Okay, number 2. I know that I can probably graph this one. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right?
Yep.
And it's going to be some parabola, right?
Oh, I see.
It's got a negative, so it's upside down, right?
Oh, the
And I can put it on Desmos. So I can also look at it on my calculator. My calculator also graphs too. If I'm a little confused, I can say, okay, well, if I did my, clear that. If I did my 9 subtract x squared, I can look at it that way, right?
Wait, why did you get 3 and
I bet if you were to solve that, what would you get?
wow, okay.
I know, right? See how smart you are? And this is a line. This is a line. Y equals 3x plus 5. I know it's a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 3 over 1. So it seems like they do intersect in 2 spots, don't they? So if we want to find out where they intersect, there's graphically, but the graphically doesn't show it very well. I'm not sure exactly. I kind of think this one's 1, 8. I think this is point 1, comma 8. I think that's the answer, but I'm not sure about this one here. So I can do it algebraically. Well, where 2 lines intersect is where they're equal. Where 2 lines intersect is where they are equal. Okay, where 2 lines intersect is where they're equal, so we're going to just set them equal. So I'm going to go 9 minus x squared is equal to 3x plus 5. And I'll solve. So if I want to find out where they're equal, I set them equal. Where they intersect is where they're equal. Looks to me like I'm probably going to have to factor, so I'm going to bring everything over to this side and set it equal to 0. You okay with that? Okay, so I'll have a positive x squared because I added the x squared, plus 3x, and if I subtract 9, I'll have a minus 4, okay? Okay, added the x squared, brought it over, and I subtracted the 9, gave me negative 4, and I think that will factor, won't it? That'll factor into x plus 4x minus 1. Oh, I like it when it factors. Then I have to do this ugly quadratic formula, huh? And then, by my mini equations, one answer is x equals a negative 4, and the other is x equals a positive 1. I kind of know what the one is, but these are points. So this is negative 4 something, and this is 1 something. So how do I get the something? Plug them in. Now, which equation do you want to plug them into? Which one looks easier? I'm going to plug them both into that equation, right? Plug them into that one because that looks like an easier equation to plug them into. So let's plug them both in here. So I'm going to have a y equals a 3 times a negative 4 plus 5. I think that's negative 7, isn't it?
Yep.
So there's one point of intersection. And then y equals a 3 times a 1 plus a 5, which is 8. That was my guess anyway. Okay, so there's my 2 points of intersection. I have 1 point, which I guessed, 1, 8, but I was right. I was right. And the other point, way down here, I couldn't find because my graph wasn't good enough at negative 4, negative 7, 2 points of intersection, okay? Turn the page when you're ready.
No.
I absolutely will wait for you, Lexi. I don't want you to have the same experience I had in high school. I want you to have a better experience, Lexi.
Yay.
I never even took pre-calc in high school. Hated math. I don't anymore.
How enjoyed the liking it?
I had a couple of really good college teachers, and I was always good at it, even though the only D I ever got in my life was in math. But you know. Okay, this one we can do. This is going to be an easy one. Take a look at it, okay? So here's the formula for an object thrown. We know height with respect to time, so we're going to go h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 40t plus 10. So the initial velocity is how fast it's traveling the moment it leaves your hand. But then, of course, it slows down. That's the initial velocity, and that's the initial height. All right, find the time it's at its highest height. Well, we're going to just use the negative b over 2a, right? I'm going to go negative 40 over 2 times negative 16, which is 40 over 32, and Lexi will stop, okay?
When do you take out the negative?
Negative over negative. Retta, you're asking the best questions today. Thank you. If I can avoid negatives, Retta, I will, right? And so when I 40 divided by 32, I get 1.25. Now that's a time, and that actually makes sense. That's 1.25 seconds, right? Now the highest height, well, we're going to have to then plug it in, right? So plug it in, plug in 1.25. So h of 1.25 equals negative 16 times 1.25 squared plus 40 times 1.25 plus 10. Okay. And again, I'm just going to let the calculator do the work, right? Why not? And I get an answer of about 35. So the height is 35 feet. And then when does it hit the ground? Well, I'm probably going to have to use the quadratic formula, but that's okay. We can do that. I don't know how well you guys like these calculus, but I think you should probably get familiar with them, okay? Because they sure can make these problems a lot easier. They can, okay? So, you ready? Negative b, it won't factor, but we could make it easier. What can we do to make it easier? We could divide everything by 2, but I'm just going to use these numbers because I have a calculator. So negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Okay, now let's let the calculator do as much as it can, okay? So to speed things up, watch this. Square root 40 squared, right? Plus. Now, Retta, go ahead and ask why did I do, will you please ask, Retta? Why did I put plus? I'm trying to help myself out. Negative times negative, right? 4 times 16 times 10. And all of that is going to be about a 47.3. Okay, so I got a negative 40 plus or minus 47.3 over negative 32, right? So I just let my calculator do all of that, right? Bam. Just do the work for me. And then I'm going to have a negative 40 plus 47.3 over negative 32. And I'm going to have a negative 40 minus a 47.3 over negative 32. Okay, now, believe it or not, this is the one I'm going to keep. This is the one I'm going to throw away. This will become negative. Can you see it? That will become negative. Can you see that will become negative? Everybody agree that's negative? So I'm going to throw that one away. This one will become positive because you have the negative divided by the negative, okay? So, all right, negative 40 plus that answer divided by 32 is about 0.23. Wow, that can't be right. I might have made another mistake out there. Well, I'm going to stop there. I did make a mistake somewhere. Negative 40.
You divide by.
Oh, I knew I did that. 7. I know exactly what happened. I'm going to fix that. Negative 40. I found it. Minus 47.3 divided by negative 32. There we go. What?
You just typed -13.
Let's do it again. Negative 40 minus 47.3. Enter. Divided by negative 32. Enter. There we go. 2.7. Wow, that was brutal. Brutal. 2.7. Whew. Technology, huh? It's supposed to help you. Didn't help me at all, did it? Kicked my butt. Okay, so homework's on there. Okay.